If you're here today, it's because you're wondering how to wire your boat up so it doesn't burn to the ground like these ones. Well, this is your solution. On the table, I got most of the stuff that we're going to be going over today. I will be going over single battery and double battery setups for your accessories on your boat so that you can wire them up safely and get out on the water and have some fun. Let's get right into it, explaining some of the theory on voltages and the do's and don'ts of your initial setup. Now, wiring up the accessories on your boat may be a little bit confusing if you don't understand the different types of batteries used on your boat. Usually, you will have a battery system, whether it is a single or a double, running a starter for your motor. This is a battery that you should not touch when wiring accessories in. You don't want this to go dead while you're out on the water. Now, the ideal setup for your accessories is a single standalone battery that you can wire to your heart's content. This is a super simple setup. You got your negative, you got your positive, you run your wires, you're good to go. Now, if you're like me and you've got a 24-volt trolling motor, instead of adding extra weight to your boat using a single battery plus your dual setup for your trolling motor, you can use this setup to power your accessories. Now, this is where you really need to start paying attention, because if you do this incorrectly, you can ruin a lot of your accessories. Now, let's go over a 24-volt system in your boat. That is meaning that you have two 12-volt batteries hooked up in series. Now, series means that you are going from the positive of your first battery to the negative of your second battery, and your 24-volt equipment hooks the negative to the first battery and the positive to the second battery. Now, I have my meter here, and I'm going to touch the positive and the negative terminals in this 24-volt system. So, I have my negative touching there. We will touch our positive, and we have 25.7 volts. That is well within our range of our 24-volt system. So if we stay on that negative, come over here, touch the positive of the same battery, we are at 12.9 volts. Now that, my friends, means that our 12-volt boat accessories can run off of the first battery in our 24 series battery system. Now, disclaimer here, your charger that you have for your batteries also matters. If you have a 24-volt charger with one set of leads, then this will not work for you, and you will decrease the effectiveness and the lifetime of your batteries. One will be undercharged, one will be overcharged. You will never reach that equilibrium again. Now, if you have a battery charger such as this one, you will notice that this battery charger has a set of leads for each battery. That means that in our two battery system here, I have a charging lead to this battery that hooks to the negative and positive, and a charging lead to this battery that hooks to the negative and positive. That will guarantee that your batteries charge fully, and that will preserve the lifetime of your batteries. I do recommend in this system to only run your 12-volt accessories off the first battery in your series. Now, the reason I recommend only running off the first battery is because if you hook up to any of the other batteries, you do have a higher voltage potential. You should only get 12 volts, but if something were to occur in your batteries or in your wiring, you do have a higher voltage potential, which could lead to burnt wires or, even worse, accessories being destroyed. Now that we understand a little bit more about the battery systems that you may encounter in your boats, let's go ahead and go through a wiring demonstration. Now, I do want to mention to you guys all the stuff that you see here on the table, the fuse box, the switch, the lights. I'll put a link down in the description. It's not an affiliate link or anything. It's just for your benefit so you can see exactly what I've got, and if you want to follow the exact same setup, you can. So we are going to be wiring in this light. Now, it is an LED pod light. If you've seen my last video, I installed a couple of these on my boat. I did mention that I was missing my switches, which we have here now. They are a nylite switch. Now, when this did show up, it did have bare wires coming out of the back. I have already gone ahead and put crimp spade ends, quick connect ends with shrink wrap on those. There's 3 switches and a power bank. The center here will also read the voltage on my batteries. Super excited to get that mounted up. We will wire through this today to demonstrate how to do so. And we will also be using this bad boy today. Now this is a fuse box. Your negative comes in there, your positive comes in here off your battery, and your accessories will be wired through this. And you have different spade fuses that you can plug in to protect your accessories. I do already have some pre-made leads that we'll be using. Of course, your leads will vary in length depending on where you're wiring to your boat. So let me set these batteries down on the ground so that I have some work room up here, and we'll go ahead and just get straight into it. So before I sit down and get to work, I've already taken this a little bit of time to wire in our battery. You notice we're still hooked into series. We have our negative and our positive. Our negative lead comes all the way up and hits the negative. The positive side comes all the way down and hits the positive of the same battery. That is the important part, the same battery. We do not want to feed 24 volts to our accessories. We want 12 volts. So the same battery feeds our fuse box. You guys have now entered the POV state. So, like I said, our battery's on the ground, hooked up to negative, positive, same battery up to here. Before we hook anything up, we want to double check our voltage at our fuse box. So let's go ahead and grab our meter. Make sure we select DC. Set that down so you guys can see it. Okay, we're gonna touch positive and negative, and we are at 12.9 volts at our fuse box. That is great. Now, we can go ahead and set the voltmeter off to the side. In our fuse box, we will hook to our positive terminals here, the ones that are by the fuses. Our negative bus up here is where our return power will come into. Let's go ahead and loosen up this screw. We only are going to loosen up this very first one right here in order to get our terminal, our red lead under there. Now we're going to go ahead and hold that lead in and tighten up our screw. Now you want that nice and snug. You don't have to ream on it too hard, but get it nice and snug. Now our black wire, or our negative, is going to go up here on our negative bus. One thing I didn't mention is on these I crimped some fork terminals on here. That way I can just slide them in there, tighten up the screw, and I don't have to worry about losing a screw, taking it all the way out to get them in a ring. So we'll go ahead and loosen up this negative screw terminal and slide our fork under there and tighten her up. Nice and snug. Okay, we'll do a pull test on each. Nice and snug, can't get them to budge. And start looking at our switch. So on the back of our switches, we have a black lead, we have a red lead, and then we have 3 white leads. Black negative, red positive, switch leg, switch leg, switch leg. So these 3 white ones will only have power when the switch is turned on. That's what the switch leg means. So we're gonna go ahead and take our red and plug it into our red. Get it set all the way in there. We're gonna go ahead and take our black and plug it into our black. We want the lowest fuse that we can. I think in this kit it is a 5. Right on the top of these, they'll have a little 5 or the fuse rating size. So let's go ahead and plug this bad boy in here. There we go. Now this fuse block does have a bad fuse indicator. So if these red lights in the center, so if these red lights here in the center come on, that means that our fuse is blown or bad. And now let's check our switch bank. It is a digital readout, so I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but 12.9, and our switches are all lit up. Let's pick one switch. Let's go with our first switch here. So our first white wire, I'm assuming, we're going to hook up our positive to that, and positive to the positive on our light. Now our negative. We don't have a extra negative on the switch, so we'll come straight down here, which means I need to put a fork. I only have 2 spade ends. So let's go ahead and put a fork on real fast, walk you through. Snip that off with the strippers. Move this so you can see better. You strip about 1/4 of an inch off. And then we will come over into our terminal assortment and we will find a blue fork. Set that over there. Put that on so that the wire is just barely set inside that fork, and we take our crimpers and we crimp it just like that. Go ahead and land our wire on our negative terminal busing of the fuse block. Tighten that down. Take the other end of the negative and plug it. Some of these are tight. Plug it in there nice and tight. Okay, the light is not on. Let's go ahead and shine it down here. Now when I flip the switch, it should turn on. Whoa! We have light. Off, on, off, on. That works great. Now, because I will be using that switch for my boat lights when I do get this switch installed in there, I'm going to take one of these little stickers and we're going to find, we have driving lights, light bar LED roof lights, hazard rock lights. All these stickers came with this fuse block. So let's find the one that we want to use. Let's go ahead and use fog lights. That's basically what we have on the boat. Now take this little sticker off. Let's go ahead and stick it on the right one here. That way, when we go ahead and put this on here. Oh, I need to loosen up this neutral just a little. There's negative just a little bit and turn it so that our cover goes on better. There, that should be better. So when I go ahead and snap this on, I'll have to move that up and that down. Okay, so that snaps on there. We have our fog lights right there. Now this end light switch, it also came with a bunch of stickers, a buttload of them. So let's go ahead and find the same one. Do I have fog lights? So there's an alien light. Peel that sticker off and we can put that right in that little window. Stick it there. And it comes off. And I believe these are glow in the dark. So be able to see those when they glow in the dark. They illuminate a little bit right there. And as you can see, that light turns on. It's super bright. And I like it. We have successfully wired a light accessory onto our 24-volt battery system. Now, I hope this all made sense. If you guys do have questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. I will try and answer them as best I can. I am an electrician by trade. but boat wiring is kind of new to me. So I've done quite a bit of research, and obviously electricity just makes sense to me. So if you do have questions, let me know. If you have any concerns, you think I did something wrong, also let me know. I understand I don't have waterproof wiring, all that fun stuff. This was a demonstration. On the boat, you do want to do as much waterproofing as you can. Obviously, there are some locations where you're not hardly going to ever get water, so it doesn't make a huge difference there. But a good practice is a good practice for a reason. Now, leave a like and subscribe. I will be doing more of these tutorial videos if you guys desire. But a lot of our content is to just go out there, have fun outdoors, fishing, boating, hiking, all that fun stuff as a family. Join our adventures, and catch you later.